Everybody's not cut out to be an entrepreneur. If you think that everybody's going to give you the round of applause and send you on some golden road and put wings on your back and take you all the way to the sky as an entrepreneur, you are sadly mistaken. Entrepreneurship is challenging. Entrepreneurship is difficult. Entrepreneurship will cause you to test yourself or check yourself. Entrepreneurship can lead to temporary states of insanity and depression. But guess what? Entrepreneurship can also lead to freedom and flexibility. Entrepreneurship can also lead to leaving a legacy for your children. Entrepreneurship can lead to traveling the world without having to ask anyone. Entrepreneurship can lead to an abundance of resources, an abundance of connections. Entrepreneurship can lead to mastermind principles where people way more successful than you will pull you into their circle and elevate you just because you're an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship alone makes you part of a very, very elite club. And being a successful entrepreneur makes you even more special because most people don't hang in there long enough because guess what? It's easier to quit. I challenge everybody on the webinar tonight, before I show you even one slide, to ask yourself a serious question. What is your IQ level? And IQ stands for I quit. What is it going to take to knock you out the game? What is it going to take to derail you from your goal of having freedom and flexibility and designing your life or creating your lifestyle as opposed to just making a living? That's the difference. Some of you guys are going to design your lifestyle and some of you guys are just going to make a living. My challenge to you is whatever it takes to get you where you need to be, you need to do. If it's legal, ethical, and moral, whatever it takes for you to get where you want to be as an entrepreneur, you need to do it as long as it's legal, ethical, and moral. Now, whatever keeps you from getting where you want to be, I want you to always ask yourself, is it worth it? See, most people that mentor and coach and tell you these things about business, they don't really tell you the truth. I'm telling you right now, I'm starting out with the challenges. So when you run into them, you can say, okay, yeah, Brian already said it was going to be challenging. Brian already said it wasn't going to be easy. Brian already said he's still learning. And I failed hundreds of times and I'm still learning. But look, 7 figures later, I'm still learning. On my way to 8 figures, I'm still learning. I will accomplish that goal before I'm 45 years old. I'm still learning. So I want you guys to write this down. Embrace challenge. Enjoy the struggle. I will embrace challenges and I will enjoy the struggle. The minute you start to enjoy the struggle and the minute you start to understand that without struggle, there's no growth at all. And the minute you stop riding the emotional roller coaster of entrepreneurship, you're going to succeed. So let me tell you why Vision 2020 is so important, or why 2020 vision is so important. This is crucial. Okay, here's the reality of the situation. I started this campaign for a couple of reasons. One is because when Donald Trump won the election, I saw people go in this huge uproar. Now, I was born in 1975, so I want you guys to understand something. When I was born, I don't remember this, but Gerald Ford was the president. But here's the question I want you guys to see on each of these slides, whether it relates to you or your family. What was your financial state when that president was in office? And what was your family's financial state when that president was in office? 4 years later, when Jimmy Carter was in office, I was, 8, 9, 10 years old. 5, 6, 7 years old. What was your family's financial state during the next presidency? What was your family's financial state? What was your financial state when Reagan was in office? Or your family's if you were young? What was your financial state when Bush Sr. was in office? Or your family's if you were young? What was your family's financial state? Now, I want you to understand, we've been 20 years now since somebody like myself was born. When Ford was in office, what was your family's financial state? When Carter was in office, what was your family's financial state? When Reagan was in office, what was your family's financial state? When Bush Sr. was in office, what was your family's financial state? What was your financial state? When Clinton was in office for his 2 terms, what was your financial state? What was your family's financial state? Maybe Bush was in office. Probably everybody on this webinar now was alive at this point. What was your financial state? What was your family's financial state? When Obama was in office, what was your financial state? What was everybody else's financial state? Now I got a question for you. Dun, 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 dun. What is your financial state? And what will your financial state be? Now, let me give everybody a news flash. Let me give everybody a news flash. The President of the United States has no bearing on your financial state. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that. I'm not saying certain laws aren't on the books that affect you. I'm not saying certain things that they pass won't affect you. Certain tax brackets, property taxes. I'm not saying that that high up in office has no bearing on you whatsoever. Believe it or not, politics is more local as far as what affects you. My point to you guys is I just ran through about 7 or 8 presidents. And you got to ask yourself a serious question. What was my family's financial state? Whether it was Ford in office, whether it was Bush Sr. in office, whether it was Obama in office or Trump. It doesn't matter who's president if you're not going to do what you need to do to be successful. It doesn't matter. You guys got to understand something. This is the land of the free, the home of the brave. The president does not have a bearing on your financial future if you understand entrepreneurship. Now, the president can have an effect on your financial future if you're settling for a job, because unemployment does affect your family. Unemployment does affect you. Unemployment does affect prices. Unemployment does affect shopping. Unemployment does affect restaurants, does affect movies, does affect travel, does affect real estate, does affect the economy. But entrepreneurship is the last to take a hit if you understand what it takes to be an entrepreneur and if you understand how this economy works. Another man has no control whatsoever over how successful you are if you understand the laws that govern this country. So we're talking about entrepreneurship. See, I know one thing. If Trump is an entrepreneur, this I know for sure. He's going to do things that benefit entrepreneurs and people like him. I'm not a big fan of Donald Trump. That's why I just sat back. And this is not a political webinar tonight. I'm trying to get you guys to understand that the president historically has had no bearing whatsoever on your financial state. In other words, if my family was broke when Henry Ford was president, they broke when Barack Obama was president. It's simple. So the press does not matter if you're thinking big and if you understand that the new president is a businessman. So why would you do anything but own a business right now? If the president is a businessman, he'll probably do things that affect business owners. Now, let me tell you what I mean by this. This is important for you guys to see. The president does not matter. Politics at best affect you on a local level. They don't affect you nationally. If you are an entrepreneur, it can actually be a blessing in disguise for you. Now, let me give you guys an understanding here. There are 2 sides to every business. As I stated earlier, there's operations and there's finance. Now, I want you guys to think right now about the purpose of getting in business. The purpose of getting in business, or the definition of business in layman terms, okay, is to provide a quality product or service at an affordable price, and you expect to receive a quality profit. That's the definition of business. Again, to provide a quality product or service at an affordable price, and you expect to receive a quality profit. That's the definition of business in basic terms. Now, here's the understanding here. Most Americans work 40 plus hours and earn money that's decreasing monthly. In other words, the value of the dollar decreases monthly because prices continue to go up. When they retire, their income stops and their expenses continue every single month. You become more and more poor. When they retire, their income stops and their expenses continue. So every single month, you become more and more poor when you retire. Now, in business, if expenses, this is work, up every month and revenue was down, they will be out of business. Let me say this again. In business, if expenses were up every month and revenue was down, they will be out of business. So most Americans are headed to bankruptcy personally. You are systematically working towards poverty. That's most Americans. See, here's the reality. If a business had the same expenses every month or more expenses every month, and their revenues were the same or going down, they would be out of business. So write this down. Either you're growing or you're dying. Either you're growing or you're dying. There is no in between. Either your finances right now are growing or they're stagnant. And if they're stagnant, they're decreasing because the cost of living is going up every single year. So if your expenses if your income is the same, it's really going down. So if you know for a fact that a business owner whose expenses are the same or going up, but their revenues are going down would be out of business, guess what? Most Americans right now are personally out of business. When you retire, if your expenses stay the same, but your income is going down, you will be personally bankrupt. You're just like a business owner who's out of business, but you're not running your personal finances like a business owner would. But most Americans are on the verge of bankruptcy right now. You understand I want everybody to understand what I'm saying. If you're 65 years old or 70 years old, companies don't pay you more when you leave. So if you're struggling right now and you go to work every day, what in the world makes you think you're going to be okay when you stop working? Oh, Brian, I'm going to be fine because I got my 401k. I got my savings account. Listen, all that's great, but we're talking about taking your income to the next level. We're not talking about doing okay, because okay represents a flat line, and a flat line represents death. We're not talking about doing okay because the cost of living by the time you retire is going to be 3 times more. So the money you're putting away today is worth 1/3 of what it's worth now. You understand what I'm saying? So that means entrepreneurship is big for one reason and one reason only. It allows you to control how much money you put away, whereas any other form of taxation or payment does not allow you to control how much money you put away. Being an entrepreneur means you can compete on every level. So no matter who the president is, you can compete. You have control. You have say-so. Why? Because the public is responsible for your success, not an employer. Come on now. When you're an entrepreneur, the public is responsible for your success, not your employer. So all you got to do is maintain a quality product or service at an affordable price and expect to receive a quality profit. Everybody type, I will profit.